Have you ever heard of Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day? Um, well, yesterday I had a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Hi, I'm Christopher Thompson, and welcome again to The Experience, where we reflect on the words and the work of Jesus Christ. As always, I'm here on my thinking chair. It's my favorite place to do some of my very best reflecting. And we have been counseled to spend a thoughtful hour each day reflecting on the life of Christ. And while this program only lasts for just a few minutes, we still like to spend time reflecting on God's word. So, Alexander in the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. It's a book, 1972 children's book about a kid who has a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. It's, everything goes wrong from the time he wakes up and he's trying to navigate it. Well, yesterday was that kind of day for me. On Monday, I took my mom to the hospital and she was admitted and she's been in the hospital ever since. She is getting better. But yesterday was hard because I don't know what your relationship is with your mom, but my mom um, is I don't even know how to say it. She's just invaluably important to me and has been my whole life. I'm very close to my mom, very dear to her. She's very dear to me, and somebody out there knows what I am talking about when I say it is absolutely just terrible, terrifying, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad when you see your mom without strength. You know, nothing could prepare you. Nothing could prepare me for not being able to draw strength from my mom. Like my mom is one of the strongest people I've ever known, and to see her weak just took all my strength away. And and so that I mean, if anybody has ever cared for a sick parent, um, it just does something to you. And I've never, my entire life, my mom has always been the paragon of strength, and I was not prepared to see her weak and for her to need me to do very simple things for her. That was very hard. As I said, she is getting a little bit better, but that was hard. But then I got a phone call. I was in my mother's hospital room and I got a phone call. It was from one of my fellow teachers, a teacher I taught with at a high school I taught at last year. And she was calling to say that our fearless leader is what she said. She said, "Our leader has fallen." Those were her words. And I was in immediate shock. It's the principal who has led the high school for several years. The principal has been battling cancer for a long time. And yesterday morning at 8:11 a.m., she lost her battle to cancer. I was in my mother's hospital room. And so I said, um, I need to call you back. I'm at the hospital with my mom. She says, well, which hospital are you at? And I told her, and she said, that's the hospital she's in. She's still there. So I went from the third floor to the second floor, from my mom to, in a lot of ways, my campus school mom, um, to see this lady who means a great deal to me. I need to talk about her a little bit. The day that I signed the contract to teach at her school, my phone was ringing off the hook with an offer from another school. They were offering me significantly more money, and they said to me, what do we have to do to get you to not sign that contract? We'll do anything. Just tell us. My principal at the school where I was about to sign, she said, you tell those people that I said no. You not signing. I drove an hour every day to her school, one way, as opposed to driving 15 minutes to the other school, because she was that great of a person and a leader. We have several things in common in that she's also a pastor. And so when we first met, we connected because she's a minister who's also a teacher. She's a minister who cares for students and advocates for students and cares for her community. I related so deeply with that, and we connected so deeply that I could not help but lock arms with her and work with her in this really challenging environment. Yesterday was really hard because I had on one hand this woman who, the first woman I've ever known, my mom. And on the other hand, I had this woman who is a minister and a mother to hundreds of students for generations. And both of them represent for me how we ought to live. My mom, her love for her children and her grandchildren and now great-grandchildren is the standard, I believe, of what a mother's love should be. I could tell you stories of the way that she's extended herself for her children and her grandchildren. And then Mrs. Hawkins is her name, Sinitra Hawkins. She, while battling cancer, her doctor would tell her, you need to take 2 days off. You need to take 2 weeks off. And she was like, nope, I'm going to school. Why? Because she cared so much for the students, and she extended herself and sacrificed herself for the students. I had to share about these two women today because they are the embodiment of what we've been talking about. I want to remind you of that text. It's John 13:35, and it says, by this will all men know that you are my disciples, if you have love one to another. One thing is for sure. Anybody who knows Mary Thompson, they will tell you that she loves her children and she loves her grandchildren, and now with a couple great grandchildren. And anybody who knows Sinitra Hawkins will tell you that she loves her community, she loves her church, she loves her children, she loves her students. This is what the Christian life should be. That when people look at us, they see love. There is no doubt in my mind that these two women embody love. I wonder if I were to ask you, who do you know? Maybe you should put that in the comments. Name somebody. Who is the person that you know that when you think of them, they are the perfect, picture perfect example of love? Like who do you know that whenever you think of them, you think about how sweet they are and how kind they are and how giving they are, how caring they are, that they represent love? And then let me ask you this. Is there anybody who, if they were asked, who do you know that represents love? Is there anybody who would point to you? And I want to live the kind of life that when people say, who's the person that represents love? I want people to think of me. I want the love of God to envelop my life in such a way that everybody gets love spilled on them when they come around me. That's the way the Christian life should be. Listen, I wish we had more time, But I'm glad you joined us. I want you to remember, tell us in the comments who embodies love for you. Who is your example of love? And then be sure to join us here next week. Same time, same place. I'll be here on the thinking chair. And we're going to talk about words and work of Jesus Christ. And remember, you have a personal experience with Jesus, your life will be transformed forever.